Okay.
All right.
Have we started recording yet?
Yes,
Okay.
and we'll share that with you.
Yeah, it will be on Twitch and then we'll upload it to YouTube.
This is being live.
Be on Twitch and then we'll upload it to YouTube.
And then you just gotta lower the volume on the Twitch if you have the Twitch open.
Okay, all right. Got it.
Okay, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the Mechanics Institute Friday Social. My name is Abel Talamantes. I'm the chess director of the Mechanics Institute, and we have Dr. Judith Starry with us. And this Friday, we have two very special guests, Aaron Thompson. Judith Starry with us. We have Aaron, live TV here. So we have Aaron Thompson and Tunde Onakoya. Thank you both for joining us.
Hey, happy to be here.
Yeah, so Aaron, so you're with the UC Merced Chess Club. You've been a player at the Mechanics Institute, so you've been there and we know you well. Just tell us about what you're up to school-wise. So you're at UC Merced, and then we'll get into the initiative you both have, which is a very cool thing for people to learn about and understand.
Yeah. So my position in UC Merced Chess, so I'm the president of the club. And so one of the challenges is, during the pandemic, and especially with people kind of trying to navigate coming back to college during the pandemic, how to continue the club, but meeting people's reservations and being able to balance their lives and being able to handle events. And so what I've done is found kind of this nice middle ground of, hosting these very small tournaments, but maybe larger impact. One great example is, I had a match against UCLA that I organized earlier, I think a month or two ago, and that was really great because it offered my players a lot of, it offered them a lot of interest in the club. It kind of renewed that momentum, and it's things like that really strike that perfect balance.
And you learned tournament directing from the best, because I know Judith helped you out when you were getting your TD certificate and what have you.
Yeah. I actually was tournament directing a little bit before I met Judith. I don't know if you guys know who Paul Stagnoli is. He was this tournament director for Santa Rosa, right? And so he held these Exchange Bank Open tournaments. There were some really notable players there. I think International Master Ladia was there. Yeah. And so, exactly. So those tournaments are very, they are very serious tournaments. And so understanding tournament directing from somebody who is both, very down to the rules and also, really interested in teaching and kind of giving tournament directing to somebody else is really, it gave me that kickstart. And so when I hit up Judith, I was like, hey, I want to keep this going. I want to keep tournament directing and, follow after him a little bit.
And I don't know if you know, man, she was super excited to help you out. So.
He didn't need a lot of help.
and Tunde, are you also a student at UC Merced?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Where are you at? Far and away, or?
Okay, I'm in Nigeria.
Wow.
Nigeria is a country in Africa.
And how did you guys make the connection with you and Aaron?
Okay, this is a very interesting story. So, a couple of months ago, I made a tweet, that went viral. So it was a tweet about chess, about a certain girl that I met in a slum community in my country, and it was an experience that led me into using chess, as a tool for social transformation in slum communities. So I made a tweet about a certain girl I met, that just changed, my perspective on things, on places like that. And, it led me on a journey to start helping children from these low-income areas, using chess, as a gateway to other opportunities. So the tweet went viral. Then, a couple of days after that happened, I got a message from Aaron, on Twitter. And I was like, oh, hi, Tunde. what you do is amazing. My name is Aaron from the UC Merced, and would you like to organize a match between, your kids and, players from our club? And this was the first time that I was getting a message like this. I mean, one beautiful thing about chess is that it's a universal game and it has the power to connect people. It's like a language,
Yes.
on its own, and it's an amazing way for people to connect. So, but then when Aaron reached out, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we talked about that a bit. So we were trying to discuss the modalities, how do we do it? Because for most of those kids, they don't have access to the internet, they don't have access to devices, and so it looked almost impossible. So when he mentioned, I was like, oh, I mean, if you were probably in Nigeria, it would have been easier to organize a match, But then I wasn't sure how that was going to be possible, But so we still, we talked more on the possibilities, and we had our first Zoom meeting, and it was while discussing, talking about the organizing that match that our thoughts started coming together with proper clarity, and we began to find solutions to some of those challenges that we thought might make that match impossible. So it was during one of those conversations on that day that we just came about this idea. Now, like I said earlier, chess is an amazing game. It has the power to connect people. And truly, chess is a game that is without borders because it is a game that bridges, marginalization. With chess, there are no disparities. There are no stereotypes. It doesn't matter where you're from, what language you speak. If you're male or female. Chess is the great equalizer. And we began to like talk on the possibilities of really doing this. And so that was what like brought about the whole idea of chess without borders. So when the name came and we were able to like get enough clarity on what we wanted to do with that, and we kept talking, and yeah, so that was how I met Aaron, and that was how we started talking about this.
I mean, that really resonates with us at the Mechanics Institute because, we're often saying that, we want to use chess to bring communities together. And we do see it as a social tool that can connect people, especially because, like you said, it's almost like its own universal language. You can connect people from other countries that may not even speak the same language, but they can get together and play the same game. And we've seen that. And one of the things we're really lucky about with chess is that you can do it online, and through the online platforms like chess.com and others like chess, you could actually engage students in one country with another country and use Zoom, and they can see each other and they can interact and play with each other. And we're really lucky that we can do that with chess, and it's really exciting that you guys are using chess as a tool for social empowerment and social elevation, and not just in addition to the fun aspects of it. Aaron, how did you hear of this initiative and to reach out to him? Like, you just online and you heard of it?
So yes and no. Part of it is that I've been familiar with this organization for a while. They've had a lot of impact over the past few years. I think they, if I understand this correctly, like they got started in like 2018. Okay. And so right off the gate, they got a bit of press attention. Like there were some BBC articles about them. Al Jazeera, I believe, wrote something about them. And so I like this, and I was like, oh, I kind of kept in the back of my mind, like, this is really a fantastic endeavor. And I didn't really consider that I could even, reach out or I could have any sort of impact. At the time, I was more of just a player as opposed to like a tournament director. And so now that I've kind of come into this directing role, the opportunities for me have kind of opened up a little bit. I have my players, I've got that type of infrastructure. And so I remember the FIDE Twitter account retweeted this other tweet of Tunde's. And I saw that and I was like, this is the guy. This is the guy with the organization. So then that's where I reached out, just kind of like, putting out a bit of a feeler, just saying, hey, like, we'd like to work together. And to my amazement, you responded, like, immediately. So, yeah, no, that was, it's one of the things where, oh, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, and that's what it takes is to take that initiative to reach out and try to make that connection, because oftentimes, we don't do that for whatever reason, or we see like a good cause and we don't take that step to make that connection. And I think that's a lot of what we need to do just as chess organizations in terms of using chess for the better of society is to kind of make that outreach and try to make those connections and try to make something happen together, like just like you guys did.
Yeah, and I think something else that's really powerful about this is that there are a lot of people who are familiar with 10 Days organization and they're kind of familiar with Chess Without Borders now. And now they're finding a way that they can help, you know. Whereas before they might see the organization that's like kind of wary how they can sort of have an entry point into benefiting these kids, right? But what's fantastic now is that, you know, there are very clear ways that like, hey, you know, this matches the goal. If you want to bring us closer to that goal, like, you know, absolutely, you know, that's a way that you can help out. For example, right after he posted the official, like the very, very first announcement of Chess Without Borders, this guy reached out to Kende and was like, hey, I've got some computers, you know, let me support the kids.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And Tunde, what's your chess background? Have you been playing since you were a kid, or like what has been your chess development, involvement, and exposure?
Okay, all right. So to really understand how the project, the Chess Systems Initiative, came about, let me give that little backstory about myself. So my first encounter with chess was when I was I think 10 years old. Yeah, I was in, like, we call it primary 6 here. I don't know, I think it's grade 6 over there, you know. So I was in primary 6, and chess was actually taught as a subject in my school because the owner of my school, I mean, chess is not as popular here in Nigeria, but then the owner of my school was the ambassador to Kenya, I think. So, you know, he played chess competitively in his younger years. So he had this tournament hosted in his name every year. So our school was the venue for the tournament. So eventually we got a chess coach for our school, then it became a part of our curriculum. So we studied chess as a subject. We even wrote examination for it at the end of the time.
Wow.
So that was how, you know, I started playing chess, you know, when I got to that school. And growing up for me, I grew up a bit differently because I also grew up in a slum community, you know, and we didn't have access to a lot of things. You know, but thankfully I went to a really good school. You know, my parents had to make certain sacrifices, so I could attend that school. You know, so that was how I got to know about chess. That was how my chess journey began. And you know, for someone that grew up in a slum community like that, chess gave me some level of exposure. Now, for example, we'd go to like other schools, you know, the schools like for the rich kids, and we get to meet other kids, you know, and I would just watch them. You know, they were so, you know, they would wear fancy glasses and they would use chess terminologies. You know, while they were doing analysis, I would just watch them and I would be like, wow, these guys are really cool. You know, they were the cool kids like I wanted to be like, you know, and so chess gave me that kind of exposure to life differently. So I began to see the life a bit differently from what was achievable in my community. You know, and eventually I won a tournament for the very first time. I think I was about 14 years old at the time. So now in that tournament, I remember beating, because there's this school for Indian expatriates here in Nigeria. So they participated in that tournament. So I remember beating this particular Indian boy. And for a boy that grew up in a ghetto area, and you know, even seeing other people that were different from us was a luxury. I mean, when you see a white person, you're always like, oh, wow, this. But then I had the opportunity to play this person, and I beat him on that day, and I won a trophy for second position overall. Mm-hmm. And that did a lot for me because when I took that trophy home, you know, the entire street, everyone was so excited, everyone was happy. They were like, oh, Tunde won this, Tunde won that, and it was one of the most beautiful experiences, you know, of my life. And my dad was really proud. And in that moment, I mean, I was still really young, but then I knew that if I could be really good at this game of chess, I could be really good at anything, you know, I wanted to do, you know, in the world. And so it began to help build my confidence and self-esteem. So I began to like have a larger outlook in life itself. And you know, my experiences in where I grew up was different. The lifestyle there was different from what chess gave me. I mean, we lived in a place where in our apartment, like all 10 of us, we live in this apartment where we all share the same toilet, we share the same kitchen, and we didn't have a lot of things going on. But chess, like I said, helped me see the world differently. And growing up, helped me to help me through school. I got a scholarship into college. I didn't have to pay tuition because I was on the chess team and all that. So I mean, growing up for me, chess practically saved my life. And 2 years ago, after school, I finished from college in 2015. I wanted to just do something differently. I didn't want to take the conventional way of starting to, look for a job, and because I did computer science in school. So I decided to like start a chess academy in school. So I just wanted to go to school, just like the school I went to. We did chess as a curriculum. So I felt I could do something to like publicize chess as an amazing educational resource. Outside the regular extracurricular activities, I could do something a bit more inclusive, just like in Armenia. So I did extensive research in that regard, so I could like have enough material to like take chess to school and introduce it, as a program that could help children get improve their grades.
All this in Nigeria, right?
Yes, yes, in Nigeria. So I started that, and it was unsuccessful because I was still really young, and I was very passionate about chess. But then I didn't have the uh, I didn't know the business side of things. So I just wanted to do it. I wasn't earning so much, and I did that for 2 years. And during one of my experiences teaching some of those private schools, there was this particular kid that I came across. He was on the autism spectrum, and his name was Body. And I started teaching him how to play chess. And the boy struggled with his academics, struggled a lot, even with speech. And but then he could play chess really well. It was really surprising. Eventually, he became the best in his class. And so in that moment, I began to think that, this chess could really be um, something that could give hope to people that really need it. Like the kids are used to training are just, kids in private schools, the rich kids. And I was like, let me do something for kids that do not have access, to something like this. And I decided to start doing extensive research. I remember watching the movie King of Hathaway, and that, when it inspired me a great deal. And so I decided to just, I mean, this is my own experience. Let me do the same thing for, children like me. And, I took it back to my community in Ikorodu. The place is called Ikorodu, so I took it there, and, I started. And I mean, I just started, I had a couple of chessboards, went into the community, and we started training the kids every Saturday and Sunday. And I didn't know there was no end in sight. There was no plan. I just wanted to teach them chess. I mean, they could become really good and win tournament, or you could just create a different path for them, because most of them couldn't even go to school. A lot of them couldn't speak English. I decided to. There's another language in my country, Yoruba. I speak Yoruba too very well, and so I had to like look for ways to teach chess in Yoruba, because I mean, how do you explain to a child who has never been to school that a root moves vertically and horizontally? So it just started. Then eventually it blew up, and the project began to evolve. People were like, "Oh, Tunde would like to support you, would like to help, would like to." So eventually, we had to start taking it a bit more seriously, and a lot of kids were coming to the chess club. Normally on Saturdays, the children would go hawk food items for their parents to support them, but they weren't doing that. Instead of them to like go and start playing on the streets, they were now coming to our chess club, because we would always give them lunch after every training session. And they were very fascinated with the chess. They didn't know what it was.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was an opportunity to like capture their minds and introduce them to the game. So we started getting, so I started posting on social media, and people started, showing, giving us a lot of support. People, "Oh, today I would like to support with this." And they just became serious, and that was how the chess and initiative was birthed. And eventually it evolved into an amazing project where children started getting scholarship opportunities. We currently have about 15 of them on lifelong scholarship. A lot of them started winning tournaments, and we've been able to train about 100 children so far. And we've also gotten remarkable mentorship opportunities for them. So, but what we had never done was, like connect them to other opportunities outside the confines of the environment. We'd always train them there. Everything ends there. So when Aaron reached out to me and we started talking on this, and Chess Without Borders happened, we began to see different possibilities on how, we can get this children. Because I always told them something that it is possible for them to do big things even from a small place. So that they being in that community doesn't shouldn't limit how far they can dream. So I strongly believe that this Chesterfield Bodies event that we're planning for, it should be a way for them to get to see the world, get to meet other people, get to experience. I mean, they have a meeting with Aaron tomorrow. They'll get to talk to Aaron, ask him questions, and we'll get to talk to them. And so yeah, that is the backstory.
Yeah, one of the main things we love about your initiative is that even for us, when we're teaching kids in schools, we're sort of approaching it from the perspective that you're going to be learning chess, but the skills you learn in learning chess, you're going to apply to many areas of your life, right? Whether you're doing art, whether you're doing homework, whether you're doing baseball, dance, whatever. Chess teaches you skills that are applicable throughout your life, and we see that as sort of like the primary focus, not necessarily looking to make the next Bobby Fischer, but we're going to make better people, whoever they are, through the skills that are developed through there. Aaron, tell us about a little more about the event you have September 28th. Is that when you guys are launching?
So it's going to be September 26th.
26th.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is we're going to have like a 5-player on 5-player match. It's going to be like quick time controls. And so what's going to happen is it's going to be a great opportunity for, each of the kids in the slums to play and sort of get incorporated into this larger chess sphere, and offering them a bit of an outlet. So what's going to happen is, and this is so great the way that we're presenting this, is like we're gonna have the games played, probably 2 games each, and then they're going to hop on a Zoom call, all of the students and all of our players, and they're going to be able to talk and go over the games, banter about this and that,
like Skittles room,
sitting back and sort of, yeah, exactly, and that's those things where it's like in no universe does stuff like that happen. Like that's such a rare opportunity. Both for me and for my players, for the kids, for everybody, and it's just amazing. I'm so excited.
That's super cool. Like, how many kids in total are going to be playing, competing?
5 of them. Yeah, 5 of them.
So 10 total players.
Fantastic.
5 each. Yeah.
And what are the ages of these kids, and what level are you targeting with this match?
Okay, so most of them are within the 9 to 14 age range. So we also have a female player. She's also really, she's really good.
That's always good.
And the kids are actually very excited. I was telling Aaron earlier today that, after we told them that they'll be meeting with Aaron tomorrow, and they started telling all their friends. All their friends, the entire community knows that this is happening. They're having a meeting with Aaron tomorrow, and they're really excited. They have a couple of questions, prepared, to ask him. So,
what I do? I just had a idea of let's promote this in FIDE, because both U.S. and Nigeria, I think you guys are a really a prime example of how federations and nations should come together. So I think it would be an ideal story to write about for FIDE's newsletter. I know that they are looking for small stories, not long stories, but quick stories that are colorful and interesting and inspirational in terms of, so I think it would be good. So let's do that.
Yeah.
And I know that, you have your upcoming match. I know down the road, a month or 2 later, if you wanted to do anything with the Mechanics Institute, I know we can round up some kids and do kind of a cross-cultural match. That would be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, that is the purpose of this. It's not entirely about the match in itself. I mean, It doesn't matter, whether we win or lose. What matters is the heart of what we're trying to do. Which is to connect, these children to other people, to let them see other places, to let them meet other people, to know that what they have, has some sort of value, and it could get them opportunities to meet people and to see places. So yeah, definitely, I'm absolutely up for everything. Yeah.
So Aaron submitted an article. We're going to put it in the newsletter next week. And what we can do in the mechanics article, we can put the article you wrote for the newsletter, and then we'll include a link to the Chess Social, and it'll be a nice promotion of the initiative and your interview, because I think this was a really inspirational interview in what you're doing. It's just people reaching out and connecting and using chess as a social tool. Because I think more than ever, there's a lot of chess going out, a lot of internet chess, and online Olympiads and tournaments. But I think the kind of stuff that you're doing is like truly the most inspiring and something that really showcases chess as something that transcends not just being a game, but something that connects people and elevates people and makes people better to kind of overcome their circumstances. No better person than Tunde, who's from that community, from that slum community, bringing chess back to that community and trying to elevate the kids and the people the same way that you did for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I would like to chip in. Okay, so I'd like to chip in. I mean, this is, I really consider this as a revolutionary idea because this is going to, I see, a future of, possibilities, great possibilities that, one day, even our kids would like be able to get on a flight and go, to the US, to the United States, to have an event like this in person. And that is, what it really means to chess without borders, and these are opportunities that will help shape that future because, for most of them, for most of them, a 3 square meal for them is a luxury, and it's really difficult, the lives they have to live, and teaching them chess over the years, it's more about letting them know that, hey, like I said earlier, it's possible to do big things even from a small place, and like most of them cannot go to school because so we also try to look for a way to give them, scholarship opportunities. And there was a certain boy that Al Jazeera made a documentary about. He works as a mechanic, as a local mechanic, on the year during he doesn't go to school, but he's our best player. Now this boy is really good. I mean, he's so good. I think he has the potential to become a grandmaster someday. And he joined our club pretty late, and during when he joined our club, he lost his mom, and the dad had left them when he was really young, so he lost his mom, and so it was just him and his brother, and because we don't just teach them chess, because now teaching them chess gives us access to their lives, and so it gives us like a premise to be able to help them. So now we are very involved in his life. Very recently, he will also be participating in this match. We got him a laptop so he could practice, more regularly, and he has the potential to become a grandmaster. He's that good. He's that good. So, I mean, beyond chess, this is not just about chess. This is about the hopes and dreams of, thousands of children like this that live in this community. Chess in itself might not be the end. It could just be a means to an end for them. This is why it is important to have initiatives like this, to help them, to give them some sort of mentorship, to help them have global world experiences different from what is in their community. And I'm really excited about this. And I mean, I want to thank Aaron because say I didn't reply you on that day and this may happen. It's just amazing what is, there are no limits to what we can achieve through this. And I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah.
And no, go ahead.
And the other thing is that what I find is very useful is to really open the eye and learn how the world functions in terms of what are the possibilities. And if you like chess, there are certain places which have dedicated training programs for high schools, for college students. I mean, what like Susan does with the Webster and Texas too, they have scholarships for what you said, and I'm sure that other universities are in Europe and in Africa, they have scholarships to universities, and you can really dedicate your in the undergraduate years to get better in chess and achieve that GM title and or whatever title is your dream. So
Yeah.
I think showing the kids young enough what's out there in the world is it's huge, because then they can dream big and they can set a goal
Yeah.
for themselves that just not within their little community but outside. Really, it's often I tell students, my own example is that growing up in a little country, right, where you not necessarily know the limits of the world, or there are no limits of the world, right? I think that's a huge educational tool besides chess, is to broaden their eyes and see, okay, there are opportunities out there. So if you're smart, if you're hardworking, and if you put in the time and energy, then really nothing is impossible. So I'm really amazed your energy and how you promote this through chess, it seems. So it's very, very good.
And we'll keep in touch, because we would love to have your kids join our online scholastic community. We have free events daily. We'd love to have them join if they have the time to participate and play and continue the interaction.
Okay, awesome.
We should schedule a few tournaments in the morning, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know what the time difference, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out for sure.
The 4 p.m. start time is not ideal.
No, it's not.
No problem.
Unless Judith and I are playing, because we're crazy and can be up that early. But well, Aaron Thompson and Tunde Onakoya, thank you very much for all that you do, for all that you're doing for the kids, and for promoting chess not just as a game but a tool for social empowerment, which is something that really resonates with us at the Mechanics Institute. And whatever we can do to support your initiative and promoting it and just raising awareness, we would love to do that for you. And we'll definitely keep in touch.
Yeah. Thanks for us on.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right. Sorry, guys. Can I?
Yeah,
Can
go
I
for
do a
it.
shout out to
Absolutely.
to Aaron? He's an amazing guy. I just want to chip in finally. A couple of days ago, he actually met with the entire team, because like I said, when we started, it was just something small, but eventually, we had people join, and we have a lot of volunteers. Aaron met with the entire team last week. And we spent about almost 3 hours, discussing the modalities of the event, setting timelines, or how do we intend to do publicity at the week, and he has been, very involved. Even days when I've been, slacking a bit, with the preparation, he has always been on top of things, and he's just really amazing. He's an amazing guy, and I'm happy that, through Aaron, I'm getting to meet, Judith and you, Adel, and I just want to shout out to him, great guy, and so thank you very much for this opportunity. Definitely looking forward to future projects together. And anyway, so yeah, chess is our brothers.
Yeah, and
2020.
that's almost like a campaign, like you're running for office. So, all right, thank you both, and I can't wait to see how everything turns out, and we look forward to not just promoting but collaborating with you on future things. So. All right.
You stay on the Zoom call a little bit. We'll say goodbye to our viewers, and you guys should. Everyone is encouraged to join us tonight for our free Friday night tournament, and we're gonna have free tournaments over the weekend. And we are kind of taking off this weekend. No USCF rated tournament, but enjoy your Labor Day weekend, everyone.
And don't forget, this coming Tuesday, it's the start of the next Tuesday night marathon. It's the Mechanics Institute Community Tuesday night marathon in honor of our fantastic chess community we have in San Francisco and around the area. Tune in for that and register. Round 1 and 2 will be this Tuesday. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you all for watching, and we will see you again shortly. Bye.